hopefully we'll get that sign put up one. Nine. Jamie's always, when we got Jamie, Peter's using his train truck to get setting up there, so.
Is Chopper coming over too?
I don't know, it's not. I'm gonna say probably not. The other guy showed up there today, broke that trailer over there, he was, how in the world they knock that over there? I said, let's leave it marked on that pole. He said, they had it really hard for that sign to pull off there. I said, well, it did.
For April and then they'll do it up and running.
So is that,
Tornado sign.
oh. Siren, not sign.
No,
It sounded like he's saying sign.
Siren.
They don't pronunciate it very well.
What am I supposed to do?
The header milling.
It's got it recorded, so I might as well not.
Okay, it is 6 o'clock. We'll call the February 6th, 2023 Toledo Village Board meeting to order. Roll call.
Heimbach,
Yes.
Duval,
Yes.
Kuhn absent, Tucker absent, Chambers,
Yes.
Flood.
Yes.
You stand and say the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Item number 1, approval of regular session minutes from the January 9th, 2023 village board meeting. They're in your packet. Corrections, comments, questions? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
Have a motion by Flood, a second by Heimball to approve the minutes from the regular session meeting of January 9th, 2023. Call for vote.
Heimbach,
Yes.
Duval,
Yes.
Kuhn, absent, Tucker absent, Chambers,
Yes.
Flood.
Yes.
Next item on the agenda is approval of bills payable. They're also in our packet.
I do have one question about that, Green Automotive, what did that do to the dump truck?
It was not running right, it was dogging down, and the first time we sent it over there, it was, let's see what they said it was. Something to do with the exhaust, and it ran for good, and then it started throwing off sensors again, and we couldn't get no power out of it, so this time they changed spark plugs in it. And, there was quite a bit of stuff, catalytic converter, something with catalytic converter, and changed all spark plugs and coil wires on it, so. Yeah,
Good now.
yes, it's good now. It's been running all right now anyway, so. There won't be no more dying, if there's anything else, it won't be. That's the older one. And the more problems.
Any other questions about the bills? If not, I need a motion to pay the bills.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Have a motion by Chambers, a second by Duval, to pay the bills that are payable in January, and the bills are payable in February, and the bills are for January of 2023.
Okay, we are so sorry.
Call for vote.
Heimbach,
Yes.
Duval,
Yes.
Kuhn was absent, Tucker was absent, Chambers,
Yes.
Flood.
Yes.
Okay, welcome, girls.
Hi.
Welcome. Sorry about that, doctor's appointment in Springfield today, so.
Next item is the superintendent's report. Chuck?
Got my report. Cold month, or a couple cold days. Something I didn't put in here is on my natural gas, the prices dropped quite a bit to what we purchased. When we purchased back in September, October, November area. So I've just been trying to equal it out, purchase a little bit, just kind of put some more back in storage, but just trying to keep it equal out. But it's unbelievable what's happened with the market on natural gas, which I'm sure they've probably seen also on the propane side too, so. It's, I don't understand how it can be up $9 and now we're down to 3 or below. It's just weird how that's working, so.
So how does that affect what we've already purchased, Joe?
It doesn't, it's just, I mean, we're kinda high, but it equals out, you know,
Okay.
that's why I'm not taking out all of our storage, so it's kinda confusing, and that's, on how that works out, cause yeah, I'm not taking all out of storage just because at that higher price, so I'm
Right.
just buying a little bit cheaper gas, and like I said, we're just trying to equal it out. It's every month right now, I've been on the phone with our, gal out of Louisiana, and we've been talking about, you know, I tried to sell back a month. So we can buy
That was no
it cheaper,
go.
but it
Yeah.
don't work that way.
Yeah, I'm sure that's probably, are you crazy?
Yeah.
She goes, you know how many of them tried to do that?
Hey, I can't blame you for trying.
Yeah, but it's just weird how, I mean, everything's going, it makes me mad and upsets me, you know, that here we were, purchased expensive gas, and now it's, I mean, it's. so
But it's
low.
worked out well in the past.
Yes.
So.
Yes, yeah, I'm not gonna change nothing, it's
Right.
just, it's just playing the game, you know?
So the gas we purchased that was higher is what we're paying for this month.
Yes, yes.
That was quite a bit of difference.
Yeah, 'cause 9 out of 10 years is off the roof.
Yes,
This is just one of these.
yep. I wasn't for sure, I couldn't remember if I put it in there, but yeah, tomorrow morning the tornado siren is getting put up. So. And then software project started, and the guys, I mean, everything's going as planned, I guess, today, so.
They got all the media out.
The media's out, best we could get it out because there was some stuff in there, but I mean, once our contractor got in there and got stuff, cause we wasn't for sure what to take out of that tank, cause there's some other stuff in there, piping wise, and they got in there and take it out, and he has to clean it real good and cut the metal out anyway, so we worked together, got the machine back in there again today and sucked the rest of it out, and they're just concentrating on the worst tank right now, and then they'll move to the next tank, so.
So that media check, is that reusable or no? So it will be new
Yeah, it'll be all.
when they go.
Yeah, which we put new media back in 2014, we took, we had a contractor come in, took the media out and put new media in, yeah. So many years, 10 years or so, they say you really need to replace the media, so. Oh, and I also did get a hold of the insurance, I thought about this a little bit too late, that I'm meeting with the insurance on these tanks. We might be able to claim a little bit on this tank, so. I was like, I can't believe I didn't really think about it until last week, I got talking to somebody, it's like, why didn't I try to see if we could turn this into insurance, so I'm meeting with them. They're coming to look at it Thursday, but the way they talked that, yeah, we can kind of do something here with this, so. And then, I got on there on the agenda, to approve for the sidewalk project on North Missouri Street. I just kind of need to make a motion, for me to go ahead and get bids. I'd like to go ahead and get that started, and maybe we can get some more bids involved this time, and then give all summer to get it done, so. I think what I'm just looking at, unless the prices are outrageous, is go ahead and finish it all the way out. If it gets too much, if it's gonna be, looks too high, then we can split it up, if we need to split it up, but right now, Mike, he didn't even know what it's gonna cost. I mean, he couldn't even give me a ballpark figure right now with the price of stuff, so that's why I ended up.
I think that's probably a good idea to at least get the ball rolling on and see, you know, it may be something that we say, okay, we're gonna do it all, or let's cut it in half and do it.
This part
in
is not
2
gonna
years.
be as tough to do as what that first part was, because of how the driveways were
Right.
higher and lower in the other yards and stuff, so this rest of this is.
And
maybe
how
the
far
first-
north, Chuck,
We're
or,
gonna go all the way to Jackson Street.
okay. Junior.
Junior, yeah.
Yeah.
Junior,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Do this.
Have a motion by Duval and a second by Flood to, advertise for bids for the, sidewalk project on North Missouri. Call for a vote.
Heimball,
Yes.
Duval,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Chambers,
Yes.
Flood.
Yes.
And that's all I got.
Tell us about the vac machine.
The vac machine, as of right now, we're renting this vac machine. It come from Vermeer with Midwest. They've got pretty much the top line of the vacs, and we don't have to bid it out because it goes through this Sourcewell program that's already bidded out for municipalities. It's a 500-gallon vac. It's a nice machine, and I tell you what, if you guys would be willing to go ahead and, I mean, I wanna get through this month, we've got to run it for a month. And if you guys can come out, you see us using it, like right now, we've just been using it at the water plant, but the guys are looking forward to go, suck out some of the water meter pits that's full of gravel, full of rock, and it's hard to read the pits, and you can't really get down there and scoop them, so Preston was gonna start that this afternoon, and we got tied up down at the water plant, so, we can use this machine for so many things on vacuuming vacuuming stuff up. One of the, just for instance, well, we sucked all this media out of the tanks. We had the storm sewer guys come and clean out the, storm sewers and some of the manholes up by, your house. We can take that machine and put that hose down and we can clean out our manholes ourselves. If we clean out culverts with our sewer machine, you know, we can be pulling that out and have that vac machine right there at the end of the culvert. When it's bringing out all this debris, rock back, we can have it and suck it right out of the ditch right there. When we clean the square before the spring fest and we pushed all the material to the inside of the square and we take shovels and brooms and we rake it all up, we could actually take that machine and just go around and suck up together and not have to sweep it all up by hand.
Save some digging.
Yeah, and then all of our, now we got, fiber, but it really wouldn't even matter if we didn't have the fiber, it's just saves from digging with a piece of machinery. I mean, when I had B&T down here on that sanitary sewer, collapse, the first time they was over here, they had their traco, but they never used it. They made a 6 by 6 foot hole with that vac machine and just sucked up all that material. And it was, I mean, they didn't use the machine to dig it all. I mean, it was amazing and went down, they was probably 5 foot down in the ground. So, I mean, it saves on even machinery.
And the lift stations,
Safer.
We got lift stations, we believe, we haven't tried anything yet, but we believe this would suck up down to 20 foot down in our lift stations. It would draw it up. Like I said, that's maybe
well,
not.
I think, a good plan would be get through this month with the test, or whatever you wanna call it, and then, maybe next month bring us a price if
Well,
possible.
that's what I'm hoping. I told salesman, you know, that give me a price on, this is considered a demo machine, it's got 62 hours on it. It's a 2022. As of right now, there's, yes, and as of right now, there is nothing that I would try to add. There's always things that he said you can add, and I'm like, the only thing we're gonna add is stuff we make ourselves so we can suck out our valve boxes, our water valve boxes, our gas valve boxes, you know, we can you just gotta put smaller pipe on what we got, you know, and make some attachments, but other than that, and maybe put a light on a boom, cause we can take that boom and we can be over a hole and use it for a light, you know, I mean, when we're using it for a water leak, like Saturday, we had a water main break behind the water plant Saturday afternoon, and, we got that machine, well, this has been a week ago Saturday. We got the machine on Monday. If we would've had that on Saturday, we could've cut our time in half, because there'd been a leak there before, and it was all full of sand, and so we had to make this hole a lot bigger because the sand kept caving in. And so if we would've had that machine, we could've just sucked that right out of there and been done really quick, but we didn't have it yet, and that's another thing. It just, I mean, there's so much need with this machine anymore.
Will you
And
come
yes.
on my house and suck up all those dang sweet nibbles?
Oh, it can do it, but no, I'm not gonna go into that business. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's what I said, it was,
First they just cut down that tree.
I know.
they,
Oh my gosh, they're so pretty.
that's the thing, there's so many different attachments to these machines. I mean, somebody said, well, yeah, you can bring a street sweeper thing back on it, so if we had mud and on the road, there's an attachment you can put on this back, and it'll sweep up the mud, suck up that mud, so, but, yeah,
Well, I
I'm
think
not doing
that, you know, you and I have talked, and a lot of the issues that we have with drainage is because of leaves. And,
It's
you know,
something that could be, maybe do some of these culverts, I'm not gonna.
I'm not gonna say we're gonna do
Yeah.
all of them, but in the big problem areas, it could be something that could be a big improvement, so.
Yeah, that trailer's definitely not big enough to do a whole town full of leaves, you know. but
Right.
Like you said, in our manholes and into some of our culverts where there's a lot of leaves, we could suck them up, but yeah.
We'll stay in touch on that, Chuck.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else for Chuck? Okay, police report. Russell?
Yes, you have my report there. It's been pretty steady for the month. Of course, I was talking to Joyce the other day, there's another report I'm gonna generate because this only shows what I do here in town when I'm working as a chief. But during the daytime, I take a lot of calls here too. But I'm gonna have to break it down because there's a lot of calls that's not been reflected on that report. Okay, so just wanted to point that out to you. We just gotta figure out how to do it.
How are your, I'm sorry, Russ, how many, part-time people are you using now?
Nobody at the time.
Nobody?
No.
Is that by choice or just because you can't find help?
Well, there's not that much help. It's just hard trying to get people out here to work,
Right.
especially when they have full-time jobs.
Any other questions for Russ? Okay, moving along, treasurer's report is the next item.
Alright, I got 4 bills that I need approval to pay in the middle of the month. The first one's Spectrum County for the utility bills for $527.85. The second one USDI is $320. Vermeer Midwest for $333 for delivery. And Fessy for the extinguisher maintenance for $75.59.
I'll make the motion to approve the middle of the month bills.
second.
Have a motion by Tucker, a second by Highball to pay the middle of the month bills. Call for vote.
Heimball,
Yes.
Wall,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Chambers,
Yes.
Flood.
Yes.
Okay, the other thing that I have is just an update on SIMEC with the electric aggregation program. I received an email today, and prices have came down. So they sent out to get bids, and the bids are supposed to be in by next Thursday, and then they'll get with me, and then if we agree on something, we can start a new contract in July. So it sounds good.
Anytime the prices come down,
Yes.
Well, what I've heard with everybody's bills are here in town with them, and it's,
yeah,
and I'm
It's
sure.
everywhere. It really
Yeah.
is.
it's not just we.
No, no.
It's awful.
Any other questions or comments for Troy? Okay. Clerk's report, ma'am, you're up.
All right. I took copies of the resolution we had discussed this last board meeting, you guys approved for the lot 5, the 100-foot easement, so we just need to pass the resolutions and the intergovernmental agreement for industrial park for the Sumter Township Park District.
And both of these are the same, I mean,
Well, they're two separate.
Two separate, but
Mhm.
they have to be voted on separately?
Yes.
Okay. So item number 1, is that, is,
Approving the amendment for the restrictions.
okay. Item number 1 is approving amendment to restriction covenants for industrial park and a resolution authorizing sale of real estate.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Chambers, a second by Duval. Taking action on what I just read.
Approving said resolution.
Yes, said resolutions. Call for vote.
Heimball,
Yes.
Duval,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Chambers,
Yes.
Flood.
Yes.
And then item number 2 is an intergovernmental agreement for transfer of property.
I'll make that motion as well.
I'll second.
Motion by Chambers, a second by Tucker for the agreement of transfer of property. Call for vote.
Heimball,
Yes.
Duval,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Chambers,
Yes.
Flood.
Yes.
Anything else?
Oh, just update, Troy and I have been in training with our new system. And, we're mirroring right now. We're probably gonna mirror for a little bit, cause it is completely and totally different, this new web-based program, so it's gonna take a lot of, so whatever we do in one, we have to double and do it in the other, so. But it's given us practice, and, but that's kinda what we're doing right now.
So you comfortable with it?
Doesn't sound like very much fun.
It's not bad, we're
It's
getting
just gonna
better.
take time to get used
That's gonna
to
take
it.
some time.
Repetition, you'll kind of get used to it.
Well, the other ones, it's like second nature, you know?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
But,
He just learned it now. He's
Yeah.
Done it for a while,
Yeah.
and, yeah,
but it'll be better in the long run.
good.
That's good, yeah.
Anytime it's an improvement, that's a good thing.
And I sent you guys updates via email on all the court cases.
Yes, yes. Okay, thanks. President's report is next, and I have nothing to report or any questions or comments. I think I've taken care of all that. Trustee concerns? Anybody have anything? Employee relations needs to meet, I'd like to see them meet, probably next month regarding, increased payroll
salary.
Yeah, salary increases. And that is Cheryl as the chairperson, Clinton and Wes. So if you could do that, next month, I would appreciate that.
You can apply for Tracy on that. Okay. You said June.
Looking at
June,
the
yes,
calendar, today is
Next month.
Yeah.
23rd, is that correct?
Well, no, it'll be
No, I'm sorry.
16th. Yeah, that's right. We're in
No,
January.
oh, yeah,
That ain't gonna work.
wow. Today is the 6th, correct?
20th.
Yes, so it'd be the 20th on, well, that's
February.
President's Day,
Yeah,
but,
but I can pick another day, just let me know.
yeah.
And then I'll get it scheduled.
It doesn't matter to me, you got nothing. You play school on Tuesday, right? You meet on Thursday, Friday?
It's all right.
One is President's Day, and it's a holiday.
It's on time. Either after 6:30 or before 4:30.
You work on President's Day, right?
7 o'clock good.
7 o'clock? Yeah, that's
Well,
fine.
I think I can do that.
On the 20th.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anything else from any of you trustees? Okay. Public comments, Jonathan Kay.
Hi, everybody.
How are you?
I'm so happy to be here. There are 4 of them, so if you could
Okay.
pass them down there. We put together a kind of a status report on where we are for the ambulance, Toledo Ambulance Company.
Good night.
And, you a trustee?
Treasurer.
Treasurer? Well, if the 2 of you want to share that one, I'm kind of short on copies. So we just put this together, having fun with graphs. And, I mean, it's not really good news, and it's not really terrible news, but it points out where,
Who's we?
my wife and I. And, so the ambulance company and the status. So on the first bar graph, we put together the numbers for the pickups, for the runs, and there were 66 runs in the 4 months from September 1st through December. And Toledo Ambulance hasn't been running at that time, and so we were able to get those numbers from 911. So if you look there, the yellow is Jewett, 1.3 runs, this averaged out because we're dividing them, for September, October, November, and 1 in December, for a total of 5 that month. Countryside had a total of 12 that month, and Toledo had a total of 49 that month. So they were the big users there. The next page goes and explains it in words. There's a chart and a graph that basically is the same thing. The next page is the FOIA from 911, so that's where we got our information for September, October, November. The next one is a FOIA from December, so we have our documentation in order there. The next is a chart, a pie chart, of course, showing those numbers again, 49, 12, and 5. The next page explains it with words. Moving right along, we have the population of each area in SSA 1, 2, and 3. And Jewett has a population of 187, had 5 runs. The Countryside has 1,757, that's 1.5 times more people than Toledo does, and uses 1/4 of the runs of the ambulance service. It shows 12 runs and 49 runs again. Then the next page is the words that explain it. So here's a quick highlight. Toledo had 1 ambulance run for every 24 people over the 4 months, and the Countryside had 1 ambulance run for every 146 people at the same time. So the Countryside used 1/6 as much of the residents of Toledo, having 1.5 times the population. That's important to keep in mind. Moving on to the next page, we break it down to ambulance runs and taxes per run. All right, so Jewett pays approximately $1,800 a year, which for the 4 months comes out to 600. 600 divided by the 5 runs that they had is 120 per run. Toledo at 49, it pays 25,000 roughly. It came out to 8,300 for the 4 months, so they paid about 170 per run. And the Countryside had 12, and they paid about 900 a month, so $896 per run. So that doesn't look right, does it? And then they just raised the rate for the Countryside, well, for all SSA members. Jewett is still at 120. The Countryside is now up to $746 is what it would be for the 12 runs. Toledo's price went up $9 to $179. So you can see that it's looking pretty bad for the Countryside and our taxes out there. A lot of you probably have family and friends that live out there. So the next page is just explaining that chart. Then on the following pages are where we've got the numbers for the SSA. That's, Jewett's paying about 1,800, Toledo's paying about 25,000, and the Countryside is paying a little over 32,000. So that's just the corresponding where we got our numbers. So here are some what ifs. So let's say that the entire SSA collected or paid $896 per ambulance run. So Jewett, instead of paying, would pay $13,440. See if I'm saying that right. That's how much their taxes would have to be if they paid the same as the Countryside relative to the number of runs. So Toledo would have to pay $131,000 and change to be corresponding to the amount that the Countryside is paying. Does that make sense? Are you with me on that? And so the total SSA would have to be paying $177,000 instead of $59,000 if they paid the same percent as the Countryside would be paying. I know that's a little complicated there, but it is, it's something to consider. And then, of course, the next page is the words that explains it. So, how much tax would be collected if everybody paid $170 per ambulance run like Toledo does now? Jewett would be paying $2,500 roughly instead of the $1,800. And Countryside would be paying $6,100, which would be great for them, instead of the $3,200. And Toledo, of course, would be the same as they are right now. So the total SSA would still be $58,900 or $59,000, but the total would come down to $33,500 if they all paid $170, like Toledo does now. Then the next page, of course, explains it in words again. So one more graph, another graph is $175. The reason that we came up with that is because that would be the average of what is currently being paid now to Greenup and Neoga to help them offset their costs for coming into the SSA area, the Central District. So at 175, Jewett would actually be paying a little bit less. They'd be paying $875 instead of $1,800, and so they would save $924. The Countryside would be paying $2,100. That's for the 4 months. The actual tax collected is $32,000, so the leftover tax would be $30,000. So that's a big discrepancy right there. Toledo had changed a little bit. They're currently at $25,000. 4 months runs would be $85,000, and it would come up to $16,300. So that's not really good news for Toledo, but it's important that you know. The next page is the words. Okay, this is an important graph. Toledo ambulance average billing per run. It goes all the way back to 2008. You can see that it's been pretty steady. up until 2019, it popped up to 959. And then after that, in 20, 21, and 22, it's been declining. So we don't really understand that, but that's the amount of billing per run, okay? That's outside of what the tax is being paid. So there seems to be a billing problem. Toward the end of it, when we lost our employees, we also had a billing problem. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know why that is, but that is a big problem. The next
It
page.
could be a problem, I'm sure it is a big problem, Jonathan, but the village of Toledo doesn't have anything to do with the ambulance.
I understand that. I just want you to be informed that these are the numbers, and I want you to be aware of it. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just giving you the information. Okay, what you choose to do with it is entirely up to you.
Didn't the county
Well,
already separate?
Your time's, I mean, I don't mean to,
It's fine, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. All right. That's all I'll do.
okay, we have anything, anybody else have any questions, comments for the good of the village?
Okay, all right. Everybody else want theirs? Okay.
Thank you, Jonathan.
You betcha.
I said anything else for the good of the village?
No, I don't think so.
All right, hearing nothing, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
We need it too.
You guys go.
You second it?
You did.
He did. Motion by Hondo, second by Ball to adjourn the February 2023 Toledo Village Board meeting. Call for a vote.
Eyeball?
Yes.
Ball?
Yes.
Coon?
Yes.
Tucker?
Yes.
Oh, yes, sorry, I'm watching Mom, so you know,
Chambers?
today's just been a day.
Yeah.
Cities. We'll put a Doug's hat on.
I'm telling you, I need it today, I do, I do.
Hot.